Before this video starts, I'll let you guys know that I took a week off doing YouTube, editing all this stuff, so that this whole video is actually Tokyo. He took the car down to the Iron Garage to get it dynoed for the Holly tuning course from Neil. And now I just want to give a quick shout out to Nick at Black Sheep Industries. If you go to their Instagram page, Black Sheep Industries Inc., they're doing a giveaway on a turbo manifold. All you have to do is follow the page, tag 2 people, and you'll be automatically entered to win this manifold, this beautiful stainless steel. And let's get into the video.
Alright, so it's Friday, just after 12 o'clock. I'm on my way south. As you can see, I got the trailer behind me. I'm headed down to Neil from Horsepower Solutions Holly Basics training course. I've got the trailer behind me because we're going to use the Malibu as a guinea pig, kind of the same way that Kyle's was in the last course that Kyle took. I had wanted to take the one that he did, but unfortunately I, at the time, had a small cough and some sore muscles, so I figured I probably shouldn't be 2 days in a room with people based on the pandemic going on, and luckily I didn't, because turns out I had COVID. So that was pretty neat. For a 34-year-old who's healthy other than overweight, it was no big deal, not to downplay it, but I lived, I survived, I've had worse colds. So anyway, Kyle hustled last night before night shift, got the boost control hooked up with the back valves and the sensor. It pulses when the car is powered on, however, having some issues with it actually reading and applying pressure to the dome like it should when he runs a boost map. So as you saw in the last video, the twin GT3582s from eBay or Amazon have some shaft play. One has some up and down, one has some in it.
It doesn't touch the sides, per se.
But neither do you.
That was a small wiener joke. But
so we know they're hurt a bit, they do smoke, but normally I wouldn't dyno it as it sits because the plan is to change it for spring. However, with this opportunity, I get to learn to tune and I get to help Neil out with volunteering the car, and then we get some numbers for you guys. So the people that wondered what the budget Malibu makes for power on cheap ass turbos, and then we can see what it makes when we put a decent turbo on it. So ideally I'd like to see somewhere in the 600 mark. I'm very curious to see what it does on 15 to 18 pounds, which was kind of what I ran around on this summer, and then we'll see what it'll do overall. So thanks for stopping by. You know, we're gonna get that V and we're gonna piece easy. I'm not getting any V at all. Fucking cold, the door's open, fans are on because it's smoky. First pull on gate. .405 and 310. So, day 2, car made 2 pulls on the dyno, 400 horse, 450 torque on the second pull, cleaning up the down low timing map. It's on 6 pounds, 4 pound spring, it's creeping to 6 pounds, it seems like, and holding. Neil's going to put some more timing in it, and we're going to do a couple more pulls, and then we're going to start playing with boost control. He's having a little issue with the Terminator. I guess there's some problems with data logging, and you'll see a drop in the graph sometimes. So sometimes it's just communication between the CAN and the computer causing the drop. So he's going to try and data log from the handheld on the card, and then switch that to the laptop. So that's a little Terminator thing that he's noticed for a while. So you can hear the car squealing in the background. So anyway, gonna do some more pulls. 6 pounds, a little bit more timing, smoothing it out with fuel.
That stand out to me instantly. So the boost is like dead flat, 5.8, 5.9 pounds, which is what it should be on wastegate spring essentially. But you see how the air fuel is kind of jagged all through here? It's probably misfiring, more than likely. And it will become very evident with more boost if that's what's happening. But we're gonna find out.
So the CO2 bottles are empty. This is now our boost control bottle. That was probably 20-ish pounds. We'll see here in a minute.
So you can see back here, it's pulling out, 5%, whatever, and then it cleans up, pulling out one, pulling out a couple up top, like past there. So what we can do is go in here and fix it. So we know, I showed you before you can use the learn table, but you can also just use the data log, right? So if you know that up here your closed loop was pulling 4%, you can go like this and go, okay, well, all of that area back to here, even maybe back to there. So grab this whole area, offset selected, times 0.98. So that's 2%, right?
So it made 573 and 674 on 14 pounds. Fuel pump's holding good. About 70% duty cycle on the decap truck injectors. Neil's going to pull some power mid-range because it's making that mid-sixes at like below 4,000. So that's rod bending territory. So yeah, a couple more adjustments. Turn it up. Go again. So we're losing a little bit of air on one of the plugs on one of the wastegates. So try and plug that up so that the air tank will work. Our hillbilly air tank. And 737. Fuck me. That worked good.
I don't want to fuck you.
630 and 747.
All right.
That Pull was on 17 and a half pounds, 630, 737.
Probably have to pull it back further, earlier, right? So back here, we have still lots of timing in it, so we'll go in there and we'll fix it.
So hopefully that'll be 20 something on the gate, 25 target maybe. See if it'll break 700 with meth. Shitbox live. $674 and $796.
So we added boost and we turned on the meth kit. So let's see what it did. Now look at the closed loop. Look how much it's taken out. Our duty cycle came down, which it should because of the meth. And our torque at the front there, it's still fucking huge torque. Which that's the downside to small turbos on a deal like this, is they just spool so hard that they make a shit.
Fuck! 727. 882 on 22 and a half pounds.
You can see all through here where we pulled timing out, it was softer, right? Made less torque, less everything, right? But then as soon as the timing starts rolling back in it, which is at, whatever, 3,800, it just makes nasty torque down there, right? And that's just this style of combo, they just do that, which makes it for a super fun street car, like paired analog, and then you'll see them overlaid on each other, right? So you can see before there was more timing, whatever, and all of the values will be right here. So at that same point on the run that I'm comparing, it was only on 14 pounds of boost. This one it was on 22. Is our manifold air temp. So, I mean, we're talking a difference of 20 degrees, give or take. How accurate is that? Hard to say. I mean, the meth is getting on the sensor, so.
Was that both of them being on there?
No, this is one without meth and one with meth. So that's the difference is 20 degrees. As we knew. And it's soft on timing.
Where do you see soft on timing?
I'll show you in a second.
The ring.
Right there. So there's the mark, right? You can see the line across the plug. So until you start rounding the bend here, like, I'm not worried about it at all.
Right.
Like, this is still, it's rich as fuck, like, obviously, but and that's probably because it decelled. It was rich at decel, and then I shut it off. Right? Like, it,
So to get a proper mark, as soon as you get out of it,
you have the thing fucking wing to the moon and then just clicker off. That's why you'll see drag cars go through the lights, and then boom.
and that's why there's tow cars for them.
Yep.
So that
come
the
back,
plugs
pull all
are
the plugs
untouched.
out of it. Yep.
So they can read it.
Yep. So
We're soft on timing, but we're concerned about torque. So,
but we're soft on timing like this, we're probably soft on timing up top still.
Okay.
But we're gonna add boost, so fuck it. We'll just leave the soft timing and add some boost. So, I mean, once again, we're trying to err a bit on the safe side because he wants it to
boost will
live.
make power safer than adding
Timing, right? So, but like I say, I mean, it's nice to pull a plug and get at least an idea what's going on in there. And this is only one cylinder, so what hole was this?
Third hole, driver side.
Rice and nuggets. Yeah, so number 5. So, you know, this hole looks like this. We could pull all 8, and we could have one that was fucking on the bend and be like, ooh, yeah, this could be a soft hole, right? So you gotta just, you know.
That's when it's nice to have EGTs or
a backup, right? A way to verify what we're seeing. But honestly, I mean, this one looks super safe, looks rich, but you know, timing-wise, looks super soft. The other thing is there's no heat. Like the top ring of the plug, normally like into this top thread, you'll see, and this is why I like NGKs. Everybody has their preference, but NGKs are easy to read. And this cadmium coating burns off, like it'll discolor. And then that's how you know you're starting to get kind of close. So like basically once you get into this top ring here, you'll see the heat in the top ring. Like the top of, you know, like this flat portion up here. And then also into the first thread, and everybody's got their own, you know, like, oh, I like it, you know, 2 rings or 2 threads down. That's as far as I'm going, you know. And some guys go, oh, okay, well, I'm going until the fucking strap's gone, and then I'll back up a bit and put, screw a new one in. So, I mean, everybody's different, but this is definitely soft. It's, you know, it's a 7, so it's a cool enough plug. We're not worried about it. We're gonna turn some boost up. You can add or take away per cylinder, right? So right now we have number 7 and number 8 have 1 degree of timing out of them. Right. So in theory, if we were to pull number 7 and number 8, they should look even softer than that. We don't know that unless we do it, but you know.
So if you wanted to actually
get more lean because of the air coming into the intake.
That's right. So, you know, depending on the style of manifold, like this manifold's not bad. If you had a like a sheet metal, like we were talking about, like Performance World, Holley, bread box steel, whatever. And, you know, on 10 pounds of boost, probably not a problem. But on 35 pounds of boost, the air is coming in through the throttle body, the blade's wide open, and it's going straight to the back, hitting the wall, and then cramming down those holes. So that's why you'll see, like, you know, that's why, say, a Holley high ram works well, because it has a top like this. So the throttle body's even on an angle down like that. So the air comes in, rides the roof, slows down, makes the corner, and goes into the cylinders. So the distribution is much better. That's why a lot of times you'll see guys with like a carb style intake with a throttle body elbow, and a lot of times those are shitty because the air hits that elbow and goes into the back holes, right? But we can fix that. Even if you have a shitty manifold, you can fix it with the Holley. You can just go in there per cylinder, whatever, and I'll show you. And so now, as boost is coming up, we're progressively pulling more and more out of just that cylinder.
I'm like, what was your boost cut set to?
There we go.
Hey, what did I say? You wanted 600? What the actual?
And it hit boost cut.
Didn't we say 800 and some?
So I mean,
So 854 and 989 on 29.5 pounds.
so you know what we're gonna do, right?
That's a safe starting for him.
We're going to leave it, turn the boost cut up, strap the car down a little tighter, and
Put someone in the trunk for 2?
try it again.
Like we get back in the day.
But like, okay guys, like here you go. From when we started, it made 400.
Yeah, we're like 360 or something.
And now it makes fucking 850, hitting the boost cut and spinning. So it's probably making like 875 or something. It's like,
And 990 torque.
yeah, like just disgusting torque.
It'd be a fun street car, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
And we are lean, like way above target, like 12.7.
You changed the closed loop to max at 15%, didn't you?
That's right. So I turned the closed loop down. I mean, we could have, I can crank the closed loop back up and it will hit target, but it's going to hit target and
Fuel pressure.
be adding a shitload through closed loop because it has no fuel pressure. I mean, it has 64 pounds, which is not none, but
What is duty cycle?
Oh, that'll be like probably 100, 127. Which once again, this number is bullshit because the pressure, but still, let's just look at something here.
So, with this being tuned on a mix of 91 and 120 with meth, where do you think safely for boost on pump and meth?
35. No. Like how much would I run safely? Yeah. I generally try not to go over like 17 pounds. I don't know. I mean, everybody's got their number. I mean,
that's what I run mine on.
I've run like 25 on pump and meth if you're careful, but
your give a shit factor is well different than mine.
I mean, that's possible.
My probability.
Job at all. That you guys are confident to go make some changes, and if you have any questions or things that you're like, hey, I'd really like my Holly to be able to do this, you know, by all means, you know, ask away. You know, same thing. If you get a tune-up and you're pretty confident, run
Or like on the map.
All right, so we're done. Final numbers for the last pull. It made 854, so 855, and 990 foot-pounds on 29.5 pounds of boost. Last run, you'll hear in the video, the car actually shuts off. We finished the course, did some chatting and everything, and we went to go start it to get it off the dyno. Car wouldn't start. So, boys did some tracing. It wasn't getting spark, wasn't getting fire, no fuel. So, Justin, Daddy Cal that wired it, thankfully give us a wiring diagram. Checked the fuse. It actually popped the fuse, probably because of the crazy amount of duty cycle and RPM in the car. But it runs. It's going to go back in the trailer. Going to head north. Yeah, I was hoping for 600, and I made 250 more horsepower. This is incredible. Unreal.
Something to do with
Driving on its own power back in the trailer. Just spinning in the snow. Keep going back and you'll get dry pavement. Oh no! Whoop whoop! That's the sound of the police. Oh no, there's a vehicle. Somebody getting messed up. Alright, so it's just after 10. Almost back in town. Figured I'd film an outro for Kyle. Or I guess a finish to the video for Kyle or for me or something. So the last 4 hours thinking about the whole thing, and the Neon was a quick car. It was a blast. Made 458 horsepower on 25 pounds of boost. The Malibu just made 854 on 29.5 pounds. So 400 more horsepower than my last car. Absolutely ludicrous. So this car started, I bought it about a year ago when the opportunity came up to sell the Neon, and this thing fell into our group of friends. Daddy Cal bought it knowing that I would definitely purchase it because I had wanted one for a while, and Kyle knew I wanted one, and when the opportunity came up, he was on board to build the thing. So it went in Kyle's garage in November of 2019. It's now November 8th, I think, 2020, and it just made 850 horsepower. 1 year from a stock 305 to 850 horsepower. I drove it all summer. I beat on it. I had a blast. I had no issues really, other than the one at the racetrack, which people keep reminding me of, and I love you guys for it, chirping me. It's what racing is all about. We chirp on each other, but at the end of the day, it's all in good fun. We all help each other. So anyway, this car beats my expectations tenfold. It's the amount of time, energy, money, material, everything that Kyle put into building this car for me is just mind-blowing. I have no idea what I did to deserve him going through those lengths, but I will be forever grateful for him doing that, and then everybody else that got involved. James helped me out with a transmission, hooked me up with that Wicked Turbo 400, and then he gave me a guy's phone number and said, hey, Colin from RPM in Lethbridge wants to reach out. He watches you guys on YouTube. I'm like, oh, cool. So I give Colin a call, and he's like, yeah, I'm watching you guys for a while, and I'd like to help out with a converter for the Malibu. Just a genuine nice guy. Just incredible. Neil has let me pick his brain so many times, and then allowing the Malibu to be the dyno test pig for the Holly class today. Amazing. The opportunity. I was convinced that car didn't really make much power. The seat of my pants didn't feel like a ton, and I was prepared to have some changes in the spring without actually seeing what that thing could do. And now I'm blown away. So many people have helped out in this build, whether it's Daddy Cal wiring this thing just absolutely incredibly, or Dan helping out with fuel issues and anything in the garage, or helping when I'm not there. He goes to my garage when I'm at work, picking at the car, getting ready for track days. Colby at Legacy Dodge helped with seats and the new tire setup. Just anything that anybody can do, they just seem to be all on board for helping. And like I said, I don't know what I did or do to deserve such amazing friends, but it's incredible. And all the way down to, Eddie from Wild Rose Customs, when I bought a fuel regulator, he didn't like it, so he sent me an automotive. The Dirty Pumpkin sent me some stereo gear that we'll put in this winter for the spring. Performance Fuel Injection sent me the decap truck injectors. Wanted to help out with the build. Jamie Decker helped us out with some fuel issues to get us on the track. Brian Tooley Racing helped with the cam and sponsorship there and all the top end parts. UMI helped me out with all my suspension stuff. It's incredible. Mishimoto with the cooling products for both projects. It's just I can't forget the guys at CNA Fab. That little holder for the Jack Daniels coolant overflow. Very minimal piece, but so many people compliment me on it. It's a talking piece, and it's incredible how many people have come together to help me with a dream car, as funny as that may seem. And the amount that I've learned in the past year on this vehicle, and hell, the amount that I learned this weekend. If anybody out there is playing with a Holly, or you're toying with the idea of going with a Holly from a stock ECU, or building an LS vehicle, if you're in Western Canada, Neil Richards from Horsepower Solutions does Holly classes. Kyle did one a couple of weeks ago. That's when he put his Mustang on the dyno. Course is incredible. It's aimed at beginners, A lot of information in one day in classroom, one day on dyno. But it's invaluable information. Get a nice binder to take home. Anybody who has any interest in Holly, if you're in Western Canada, hit Neil up, take a course. I'm sure that they do them in other places. Holly puts on all kinds of courses, or tuners put on Holly courses. It's incredible to learn how other people do stuff. I learn from watching. I'm very hands-on, and it's been a great help. But at this point, I'm rambling on for 6 minutes for an outro. So, in typical Boosted Lifestyle fashion, so you gotta piece easy and get that V, or do I need to edit it because it's me? So is it piece and get that easy V? We'll try it.
My boy! Yeah, I know he made 850 wheel horsepower, which is like 200 more than I ever thought the car was going to make. However, those turbos, as you can see, they're kind of junk. They're smoking. They're making way too much torque. That engine's not going to live like that. So what I did do is I ordered 2 VS Racing 69 73mm turbos for him. He definitely deserves it. Tokyo's the kind of guy who just... He doesn't understand why he deserves these things, but then he's like the most nice, genuine guy I've ever met in my whole life. For example, one year, he spent all Christmas Day, because it was minus 40 out, he was just browsing like our local Fort McMurray page, and I think he boosted like 14 cars that had dead batteries on Christmas Day. So that's just the kind of guy Tokyo is. He didn't expect anything from it, and I like helping him out. So if you guys want to help him out too, make sure to head over to the Boosted Lifestyle shop. It's boostedlifestyle.shop. That's where all the merch gear is. If you guys feel like helping out, I did buy these turbos out of pocket for Tokyo. I probably shouldn't have spent the money, but I did because he deserves them. Peace easy and get that V. I'll see you guys soon.